Okay, this week we are talking about your business plan, the final project. That's the only thing we really need to be worried about for this week. Okay, so let's focus. Hopefully, you've already been at least looking at this. You've already been thinking about what you're going to do. You've already done a section of it. The marketing plan is a section of this, as we'll talk about here in a minute. But you're going to be working on this final project. Now, don't wait until the last couple of days to do this. This is not a Saturday, Sunday project. I get those all the time. They do not go well. It's obvious because either there's not enough detail and you end up with just a really sparse project, a very sparse plan. It's short. It doesn't have enough detail, or people go the other way and try to impress me with the level of words that they're able to cram into a plan. And so I get what amounts to a 20-page plan with about 5 pages worth of actual detail. Okay, don't give me that either. I've done those papers before. I've written them myself. They are not impressive and you don't get very many points for them. Okay, so I've tried to lay this out as easily as possible, but let's go through it one more time because I don't want there to be any question about what I want in this project. Okay, so it is a business plan. I've written these for a bank one time that was over 100 pages. The frustrating part is a bank doesn't even really read it very much. They just want specific parts of it. They're really annoying when you're dealing with banks. But I've seen them, they're 100 pages long. I'm not asking for that kind of a plan. This will be a summary at best. It still will be at least 9 pages, and I'll go through what those 9 pages will be. Okay, so you can also go and see a full business plan starting on page 248. That is still a short business plan, but it has a lot more detail than this. So pages 227 through 231. The required elements. I'm trying to be really, really careful about these required elements and saying this is exactly what I want so that you guys get as many points as possible, because I don't want you to mess up just because you didn't put in a table of contents. I will have to take off points because I said it was required. So your title page is 1 page, does not have to be elaborate. Okay, you've done a whole bunch of those. Just make sure there's a title page. Your table of contents is 1 page, meaning it's on its own on a page. It does not have to take up an entire page. Same with the executive summary. These two, number 2 and number 3, I would suggest doing last. Okay, if you do them last, especially if you're using Word, it's a lot easier to have Word just make a table of contents for you. Maybe I'll show you how to do that. We'll see. The executive summary, it's a lot easier to write a summary of the paper you just finished than to write the summary ahead of time. So don't take these in chronological order. The title page you can make anytime. Table of contents, executive summary, do last. Now, in the body of this paper, which is right in here, is where you're going to spend most of your time. All right, you'll notice that if you just did 1 page on each of these, you're talking about a 4-page paper. But your marketing plan, which you've already done, is more than 1 page. Okay, this can be a lot bigger. It doesn't have to be. These are bare minimums, but realize these bare minimums would require very, very concise writing, very, very prepared, detailed, but very concise writing. Most of you will go over these 4 1-page deals. You'll go over that, and that's fine. Just make sure you're not just fluffing. Okay? Now the company, you're going to talk about what the company is. Okay, this is a current snapshot of the company, talking about its mission statement, its vision statement, what it does, how it makes money, a complete picture of the company. Think about if this is a true business plan, you're going to be giving this to an investor or to a bank or to, that's the 2 biggest ones, investors and banks. They are going to want to be able to read this and know exactly what your company is, who's in it, how it's working, what its past is. They should have no questions about what the company is and who the company is, in a way of speaking. That's as much detail as you should put into this. This is not something where you make 1 paragraph saying it's an LLC and we started it a month ago and it's going to sell cookies. No. Mission statement, vision statement, what is it doing, why did it come about, what's its dream, where is it going. You're going to elaborate and be very detailed about the company. The market, if you did your marketing plan on the same company that you're doing this on, you already done this. Tack it in, put it in here. Copy and paste it from your other assignment, put it in here. Now, it'll be a sure sign that you didn't spend a lot of time on this project if the marketing plan is 3 pages and everything else is a page and a half. Okay, make sure the marketing plan works well with the rest of the paper. Otherwise, it's a marketing plan with a couple of other elements instead of a full business plan. The organization, how's this company going to be organized? What is it going to be doing? Who's going to be doing what? How are you going to separate out the labor? Etc., etc., etc. 1 page is sufficient if you're writing concisely. Most people are going to use a couple of pages. The financials. Answer the question, how are you going to make money? All right. And detail it. If you're going to be selling cookies, apparently I'm hungry and want some cookies. That's the first thing that came to mind. It could have been spark plugs, but no, I want cookies. If you're going to be doing that, then you need to go through the entire conversation. Okay, meaning if I asked you, how do you make money? You're going to say, I'm going to sell cookies. Well, no, there's more to it than that. You're going to say, I'm going to make cookies, which means I need ovens, I need rolling pins, I need raw materials, flour, sugar, lots of sugar, chocolate chips, pieces of other candy bars, depending on what kind of cookies they are. All of that will cost this much. That means an average of this much cost per cookie, and I will sell it for this much, take out the fixed cost of my building and paying my employees, and you see how the financials really work. It isn't as much saying, we'll sell them for $5 a piece and my cost is $3, so I'll make $2 per cookie. No, tell me about that. Okay, what are your fixed costs? What are your equipment costs? What are your variable costs, which is all of your variable materials that are going into this? How much are you paying your employees? How much are you paying for the building, for stuff like that? Details. If you don't know, then guess and label it as a guess. Okay. If you don't know how much rent you'd be paying if you started a cookie store, well, guess $1,000 a month and go on from there. It's probably more, it's almost certainly more than that depending on the location, but say $1,000 and label it as a guess. I'm just fine with that. This is an assignment. It's not the real thing. Okay. The appendix you can put lots of stuff in the appendix, could be 50 pages. I want one thing in there, which is your resume. Okay. That's, if you have one already, it's just stick this in. All right. For most of you, that should not be over 1 page. If it's 2 pages, fine. That's not something we'll talk about now. Then your references. You need at least 3 references in APA format. Okay. That means your references are going to be probably, number 1 is your textbook, since you're going to be referencing this most likely, at least the format of it. You could also, in the marketing, talk about the textbook and something you read out of there. Anything that you use that is not your own thought, you should be citing. So it should be fairly easy to get 3 references. Now, once you're done with all that, you go back to the executive summary. The executive summary, the mistake people make with an executive summary is they think it's an introduction. They think I need to tease them about, oh, we'll discuss this, and then there's an exciting twist at the end, like some type of an author. It's not that. Okay, the executive summary is a summary of the entire paper, the entire plan, so that you could take a 100-page business plan like I've written before. Sorry about that. Could be a 100-page business plan, and your executive summary is going to be 2 pages. The executive summary is meant to be handed to an executive who is not going to read the 100-page paper, and they're going to read the 1 or 2 pages and then make a decision based on it. So summarize the entire paper. All the pertinent points should be in that executive summary. I should be able to, if I need to, read only the executive summary and give you a grade for the content. All right. The table of contents, again, do it last, is going to look a lot like this right here. Okay, because first page executive summary, then the company, the market, you could have some subheadings in there. It's going to look a lot like this right here. All right, then again, your title page is anywhere in there. You're going to have at least 9 pages. Okay, that's just if you add up all these. It could easily be longer. Most likely the A papers, the ones done really well, the ones done over time, will be 14 to 15 pages. All right, now, just for fun, let's talk about how to make a couple of these things. So we're going to transition over to Word. Move this up a little bit so you guys can see. As you are creating your document, see these up here? You have heading 1, heading 2. Let's say that I had market, let's go organization, market, I'll not make this long, I promise, references. Okay, and let's say that I go through and make each of these number 1 headings. Okay, hello, how are you? And I quoted Will Smith. Okay, now Word will do all kinds of things for you. So, even I don't remember where this is because it's always around somewhere. There we go. Table of contents. I want automatic table 1. There you go. Okay. It just made, let's go back up to the top up here. You want a table of contents? Here you go. Notice those 3 headings are right there and even tells you what page they're on. If you do this last and you've been using these headings from right here, as you go through, it'll make your whole table of contents for you and you walk away. Done. Now, if you do it halfway through and something changes, like organization of the company, yes, I make mistakes in typing sometimes, then you'll notice it doesn't change unless you click on it and hit update table. Okay, done. This should not be a big stressor, but again, if you wait to the end to do it and you've been using these headings, then you'll be just fine. Let's make a secondary heading right there. Update the entire table. There's your subheading. Easy way to make this look really, really professional. Simple. Easy. We like that. Okay. If you want to even, there is a place in here. Sorry, I have not had to do this in a while. Not citation. How about a cover page? If you're not using this already, you should be. Here's your cover page. Put in business plan, what the company is, short abstract, already has my name in there, putting your email address, whole bunch of different ones you could use. Okay, easy stuff. Easy to make it look fairly professional. If you aren't using this yet, go ahead. It's easy. Word will do 3 out of the 9 pages. It'll also do your references page. If you've been using your different citations, it will create your bibliography or references page right there. Okay? Use Word for what it's good for. All right? Now, any questions on that? Some of you have asked me questions already about the business plan. Remember, this is telling the entire story of the business that you want to start. Okay, this is not where you say, oh, I'm going to do some things, but I'm not going to tell you about those yet. I'll wait until you invest. No, this is where you just spill the beans. Tell me all about it in lots of detail. Okay, any questions, please let me know, and good luck making this business plan. Remember, a last point, the difference between an A paper and a B+ paper is proofreading and revising. That is why you guys still have these groups. Okay, even though I can't really get into it because I'm not in one of them. Okay, here's your groups. If you're in one of these groups, you can share your business plan with somebody else and say, could you help me to proofread this? I promise you, if you do that, if you're not very good at proofreading, that's the difference of probably at least half a letter grade. Because somebody else looks at it, they're going to find things that you've missed because your brain is automatically tossing in what it's supposed to say. You'll do a lot better with that if you find anybody else. Doesn't matter if you think they're a whiz at editing and proofreading. Doesn't matter. They will be able to help because they are another set of eyes looking at your paper. Okay? I highly recommend that. Thank you. Bye-bye.